Going for boost over. Well, I think going for boost if you're a boost merchant, like someone like AJ or someone, you go for boost.
100% of the time.
Yes.
Always, every second of every game, ball's going in your net, don't worry about it. Go get the boost and make sure you've got the full 100 to celebrate with the other team.
Boost over ball is a good time when your opponent is dribbling towards your own corner and you know it has no threat to go into your net at all, and your teammate is behind you for sure. If all of those align, it's better to just take your corner boost, let him just dribble into the wall for useless, and force him to go back with 0. That would be a better time to take boost over ball.
If you've ever wondered when the best time to go boost over ball is, you've come to the right place.
Yeah, I spelled it wrong too. I don't know. I don't even know what a
English is hard.
few.
I don't think Pat's worth our English.
Nah, definitely not. Chartreuse. Come on.
Yeah, that's French. That's gotta be.
Yeah. Go back to your own country, chartreuse.
Speak American, chartreuse.
French.
Oh, God. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Boost Over Ball podcast. I'd like to start off by thanking everybody for continuing to rate, subscribe, and follow us on our different socials. Today, we have Kyle and AJ back from the major in San Diego, and myself, obviously, Ace, Code Red Jack, the star of the show, of course. To start us off, I want to talk a little bit about our upcoming schedule. There is a bit of a break between now and the Spring Open. We're going to be giving you guys a ton of just beautiful content that Kyle and AJ picked up while they were over at at San Diego. We have some one-on-one interviews for you. We have some team interviews. So stay tuned. Check them out. You're going to be pretty surprised at who we got to talk to. And then mark your calendars, because May 3rd will be our episode where we talk about the Spring Open and we give you our primer and our terrible predictions on, who's going to win that one. And anyway, we're back, and let's jump right into the RLCS action.
I figured we'd start this off by talking about the event, kind of some of the things that we got to do and how it was. So, I mean, first and foremost, being part of the media, we were fortunate enough to get great seats in the VIP area. We got some free food for lunch from Psionics and from the PR team. And quite frankly, we got more access than I ever thought we would at an RLCS event. We got interviews, kind of press conference style with teams and coaches. And, there were times when the interview that we had was Adam Baguette of Shift RLE and me. And that's not a position I ever thought I'd find myself in. We got all kinds of access to take some incredible pictures. Shout out Angelo, who was on the episode on Saturday. He took some fantastic pictures, and you will be seeing those pop up probably on our website, on our Instagram, in the next few weeks or so as we continue to pump out more content. We actually get access to the RLCS graphics and assets that they used for the Winter Major to put into our content as part of media. So we have a big surprise hopefully coming for everybody, using some of those and the content that we got that you'll see hopefully this month. We were able to give out some stickers. We met some amazing people. We got we brought a custom boost over ball flag that you may have seen on the broadcast, being held by Raspberries. We got it signed. Well, I mean, Raspberries got it signed, so big shout out to him. I do want to talk about it. It came up in one of our interviews, so you'll hear it a little bit, but talk about some of the imposter syndrome, right? So like, what have I done? What have we done collectively to be in the situation that we are? I mean, I still feel like people Like, who wants to listen to what I have to say, Ace? I don't know what you think, Ace.
I mean, mission accomplished is what I feel about this. We set out saying that we're doing this just for passes, and we got them. But then when we got them, I still can't believe that we got VIP, press passes, and that we had the access that we did. I am so disappointed I couldn't make it, but I've already scheduled out the time. So if we get them again, I'll be there next time. But that's just, I cannot thank Psionics and the folks that ran that event enough for giving us those passes and give us the access and allowing us to share that with our, trillions of listeners.
You're gonna be in Boston regardless of if we get the passes, right?
Oh, yeah. No, I've
Okay,
already
cool.
scheduled the time and everything. We're good.
All right,
I
good
will
deal.
be in Boston.
Yeah, as will I. AJ, what'd you think about the event as a whole? Getting to be in some of the interviews with us, and
It was incredible. I got to sit in on the K Corp after they got their victory, and it was beyond anything I could have imagined.
I
It
mean,
was incredible.
it's still like hard. I mean, I can't say that I wasn't fangirling a little bit on the inside about being able
Oh,
to
totally.
sit so close and talk to some of those people. But it's like, hey, calm down. You got to be professional and presentable. But also then you think
Yeah.
about it and you're like, well, shit, a lot of these kids are under 18 years old. So what am I like so nervous for? But I just
Yeah, true.
it's definitely an experience I never thought I'd be able to get, and we said a few thank yous before, but I just have to do it again. A huge thank you to Will and Audrey, to Psionics in general for allowing us the opportunity to have such an unprecedented access as we had. Thank you to Adam Baguette, Hootie Hoo, and the Shift RLE team for allowing us to work alongside them, for being able to build off their fantastic questions, and seeing the content that they're able to produce only drove me to make as much and as good content as I could. Thank you to AJ, to Angelo, to everybody who helped out at the event to get the flag signed, to get on the broadcast, to take pictures and videos and help me get content as we strive to produce the most and best content possible for you guys. But most importantly, thank you to you guys for listening, for sticking with us, for putting us in a position for this to happen, because without you guys enjoying the show, helping us by rating and following on social media and things like that, we wouldn't be able to get to do the things that we do. So hopefully there's a lot of big things in our future. We're trying to, as we talked about, get media access again for Boston, so we can continue to bring the high level content that we have thus far, and we hope that you'll stick along for the ride. With that being said, now that the thank yous are over and the event has been recapped again, let's jump into our recap of the RLCS Winter Major, starting with Groups A and B.
Group A, FaZe Clan got first in their group, going 2-1 with a +4. What is that? Goal differential or game differential? That's goal differential, isn't it?
Game differential.
That's game differential?
Yes.
How is Carmi +8? Jesus.
Because they went 9-1.
Good Lord. That makes sense, I suppose. Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So yeah, FaZe Clan got first in their group, and G1 unfortunately lost the tiebreaker with Crew Esports. So G1 is out in groups, and then Crew and G2 both move on. G2 is second in their group A, and Crew got third in their group. Let's see. Group B, Carmine absolutely slapped. Went 9-1 in groups, losing one game to, let's see, Vitality. That is absolutely insane. Team Falcons went 2-1. Team Vitality 1-2, and then Dignitas is out as 0-3. Yeah, how are we feeling about groups A and B?
I am very impressed by Falcons being able to beat Vitality, and I mean, I think that everyone should have beaten Dig, and they did. And I'm still convinced that Dignitas didn't really earn their spot at the major. They kind of tripped and fell into it. And also the tiebreaker between G1 and Crew was head-to-head. And since Crew beat G1 3-2, they unfortunately were the odd ones out.
Yep. I was really hoping Dignitas was gonna go on, but yeah, I agree with you. I think they just kind of fell into that situation, but they were still there.
All right, moving on to Group C and D. We're looking Group C. So we got Team Liquid, Team Secret, Ground Zero Gaming, and Gaming Gladiators. This is the group that I believe we called the Group of Life last episode. Well, I guess not last episode. Last full episode?
Last week.
Was that last week?
Yeah.
Wow. It feels like so long ago.
It certainly
Anyway.
does.
The group stage?
No, like the episode before the major.
Oh, the episode. Yeah.
We were talking about the fact that Group C was the Group of Life.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So we got Team Liquid. They go 3-0 with a 7-game differential. You got me saying goal now, Binky. Good job.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And Gaming Gladiators getting eliminated. I don't really think that was much of a surprise there. And then Group D, we start to see what we'll see more of in a few minutes, which is Complexity absolutely playing their best. And they go 3-0 with a 5-game differential, with Auction Esports taking the second place and Gen G just barely skating by. They got 1 and 2 in groups. But Pioneers was the cannon fodder in that group, going 0-3 and only winning 1 of their games.
Well,
now we go to playoffs.
For Pioneers, that's 1 more win than they got in the last major.
That is hilarious to me.
And also,
right, so
Gaming Gladiators and APAC will have to wait for the spring major for their chance to win their first game as a region as well. So they went 0-9.
Yeah. So looking back, which group was Group of Death?
Probably Group D.
You think so? Yeah.
I think, because we had Complexity Auction and Gen G in there. I mean, and I remember being very, very adamant that I wasn't, that Gen G was going to have no problems at all. And boy, was I wrong.
Yeah,
they
just struggled.
There was not a single time that they looked dominating in this event. Especially, I mean, like you take the Gen G that you saw this major versus the Gen G that we saw last major, completely different teams.
Why do you think that is?
That is a very good question. I don't know if the meta has changed significantly. Like, I don't know if like the team changes have upset the rankings, I guess, of these teams, or if Gen G they're just not maturing well. I was seeing, I mean, from my perspective, when I was watching these games, when I was watching I don't think the group stage was broadcast over the stream, so I didn't see that. But the round 1 in playoffs and their other games, I watched those, and they were missing balls, they were double committing, they just weren't playing very well as a team compared to, previous, where they were just absolutely dominating. Honestly, I think it's because FaZe. If I could blame anybody, that's not Gen G, which I do blame Gen G because it's kind of their fault. But if I could blame anybody, I'd blame FaZe, because FaZe, what's the saying that famous boxing saying? Everybody's got a plan to get punched in the mouth. And I think that's exactly what happened. Gen G was doing just great until FaZe punched their ticket, and they just have been like kind of stumbling around since. But moving on out of the groups, let's start off our discussion here of the playoffs. So top of the bracket here in round 1, we had Falcons versus Gen G, with Gen G coming out in game 5. So that one was tough to watch because it really looked like Falcons were going to beat Gen G. That's just, Falcons were playing out of their minds as well. And then we had Team Secret and Crew Esports, with Crew also playing out of their minds and winning in Game 5.
In a reverse sweep.
Oh yeah, that's right. It was a reverse sweep. See, I don't have a memory, but thank you for reminding me, because I remember screaming and hollering and yelling. That was so much fun to watch.
Yeah, and on the bottom half of the bracket in round 1, we have some less exciting series as G2 sweep through Ground Zero, as I think most people expected, and Team Vitality 3-1 Oxygen Esports, which I think not a lot of people were expecting, as the broadcast team like to point out that Rise now has the most goals at LAN of any player in RLCS, including Garrett G. And they like to say that he's icy and in LANs, and that did not seem to be the case, as Vitality made quick work of them.
Now, I don't remember which one it was. I think it was the Team Secret versus Crew, where the audience was like 90% in the favor of Secret. Was it that match? Do you guys remember which match that was?
I mean, I know.
Were we able to see the audience or like the chat predictions or whatever on those?
No, but that was the
I didn't
one.
think
Yeah,
so.
that was the one where Team Secret was like supposed to take them hands down, and that was not the case.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy.
Man, we saw quite a bit of that in this event.
We certainly did.
Yeah.
Yeah, starting at the top of the bracket for quarterfinals, we had the match that anybody in NA waits for nowadays, which is FaZe versus Gen G, and FaZe end up taking it in Game 6. Honestly, that was a wild series to watch, because there was a game, if I remember correct, there was a game where Gen G absolutely slapped, and then there was a game right after, I think, where FaZe absolutely slapped. And it was very strange watching the two, because there it is. Yeah, Game 4, Gen G beats them 5-1, and then FaZe turns around, no timeout or anything. It's not like the timeout bonus for pro teams happened. Game 5, they turn around, they're like, no, it's our turn, and they beat Gen G 6-1. So I don't know. It was insane to watch. And then the bottom half of the quarterfinals, we're looking at not the bottom half, the second part of the top packet. I don't know. I just have a podcast. I don't know how to talk about this stuff yet. But anyway, Complexity sweeps Crew Esports and ends what many, including myself, would say was a very deep run that nobody expected out of Crew, and they should be proud of. But Complexity, swept them. It wasn't even close.
Yeah. Moving on to the bottom half of the quarterfinals, we have Carmine Corp taking down G2 in 6 games. They were all relatively close, but it never really seemed to be in doubt for Carmine Corp. They used the timeout buff to get them the series win in Game 6. And then we have Team Liquid taking out Team Vitality. And again, that's kind of another one that it was close and back and forth, but it never really seemed to be out of hand for Team Liquid. So, moving on to the semifinals.
Yeah, semifinals. First, we had FaZe versus Complexity, which was an absolute butt clincher of a series. There's only 2 games that weren't 1-goal games, and one of them was a 2-goal game, and the last one was Game 7, a 3-goal game that FaZe kind of ran away with. But it was an incredible series. Definitely go back and watch it if you haven't already. And then we had Carmine Corp and Liquid, and Carmine just kind of slapped them around a little. It seems like they got the double Brazil on them, and it was a little rough to watch at some points, but apart from those 2 Brazil games, they didn't do, like, they were all 1-goal games. So outside of those 2 Brazils, it was close.
Yeah. And I mean, I would like to also point out that the Complexity loss to FaZe in Game 7 was their first series loss of the entire event. So a fantastic showing from Complexity. It really looks like they're coming together and gelling as a team. I am very excited to see what they can do moving into the spring. And then, I've been a big Team Liquid fan since the beginning of the split. I kind of thought that they would be able to perform a little bit better against Carmine, especially after winning the last regional event. But, they came out and just got their face bashed in a little bit with a Brazil in game 2 and a Brazil in game 6. So it was not as close as it would appear. But, good resilience from them to at least take 2 games back before going down. But a good showing from Carmine Corp. And another thing like that's a common theme, Carmine Corp showing up in playoff matches as they take down FaZe in the grand finals 4-2. I would also like to talk a little bit about, and AJ, you can talk about this too. So after game 4, which Carmine Corp took to take the series to 2-2, that was a 7-0 win over FaZe. First Killer left the stage.
Yeah.
Some people were kind of guessing it may be a bathroom break, but FaZe didn't have to use their timeout, and everyone's kind of just like waited around for him. So we were kind of guessing that maybe it was going to be like a technical issue or like a controller issue.
Yeah, I feel like if it was just a bathroom break, and maybe he's addressed this on Twitter or something. I don't know. I don't go to Twitter that much. But I'm thinking if it was a bathroom break, they would have had to use their timeout for it.
That's what I would have thought too.
Assume it's some sort of technical issue, but again, I have no idea.
Right, because then
I was really hoping they were going to win so we could just ask him.
Yeah, and then because then they used their timeout again after game 6 when they go to match point, and Carmine Corp is able to break right through the timeout buff, and they take the series in 6.
Do you think that could possibly be a reason why they lost 0-7? Is because he was having technical issues? Wouldn't they pause for that though?
That's what I was thinking too. Like, I feel like if there was issues that he was having in the game, then they would pause and restart. Yeah. So, I mean, I haven't really seen anything from him about what happened. So, I guess we may never know. But
yeah, I think it was you that I was sitting with. You said like he just ran off stage. I was like, what? Is that? Can they do that?
I didn't think that they were allowed to.
Yeah,
but
it kind of blew my mind. Yeah. I didn't think so either. I didn't think they were like allowed to even take their headsets off.
I think they can like readjust their stuff, but I didn't think they'd be able to leave the stage that. I mean, I know Arsenal did it at at Worlds, but they didn't use timeouts. He literally would run off,
right,
be sick, and then come back.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Maybe it was that. I'm not sure. But moving on to kind of like some of the biggest talking points that we have from this tournament, in my opinion, Crew had a phenomenal tournament, a really good showing. That's a huge pressure win over G1 to even make it into the playoffs, and then they're able to exercise their demons and beat Team Secret for the first time. They'd seen them 3 times in the in the winter split and lost to them every single time. So it's good for them to finally get a series win. And I mean, the crowd was definitely on their side, and a reverse sweep as a fan is always great to see.
And, I hated watching it, but Gen G, they were, I mentioned before, they didn't show up. They didn't show up for this event. And I am honestly a little disappointed that they didn't lose to Falcons, because I think that Falcons and FaZe would have been a lot more fun for me to watch.
I mean, that series was crazy. Ahmad was doing some nasty stuff.
He was going wild.
I think he had the goal of the tournament with a ceiling pass to himself to a ground pass to himself for a goal.
That was insane.
I was like, what is happening? But the crowd was going nuts for that. I mean, Gen G do well to fight off a reverse sweep after Falcons beat him after they Braziled him in game 3. But good for them for having a good showing. It seems like it's been a little while since we've seen a good showing from Falcons at an international major. So good for them. Vitality looked good. I think, again, especially against Oxygen, and I am rather surprised that they did beat Oxygen so handily, but I mean, Team Liquid, I still think is just a step above them for now. Maybe not for long. We'll talk about that more at the end, but for this tournament at least, they were a step behind Liquid. FaZe is almost stunned against Complexity, going down 3-2 in the series before having to take Game 6 and Game 7. Complexity also doesn't use their timeout, which I was a little bit surprised about after Game 6. I mean, I understand in a 1-0 loss that, maybe you just want to jump back into it. You feel like you played well, but, give yourself a little bit of a chance. It looked like they were a little bit panicky in Game 7. I think that's what cost them. But, I mean, we've talked about it a little bit before, but Carmine Corp was just a step above this tournament. I mean, Vatira was playing out of his mind. They looked good all the way through. Dropping 1 match to Vitality in groups, and then dropping 6 matches total in their march to a major championship. But kind of one of the most unfortunate parts, in my opinion, would be the way that Game 6 ended for FaZe. First killer on the backboard with a poor touch out to the middle, and just gifted a goal to Itachi with about 6 seconds left, I believe, for Carmine Corp to win it. I think that, First Killer tweeted out right after the event, I'm going to prove to everyone that I'm the best in the world. I know I trolled extremely hard, and I apologize to all the fans and my teammates for that, but I will regain and dominate. I think that it's unfortunate because FaZe had a good tournament. They had a good run. First Killer was playing fantastically all throughout the tournament, but it's a shame that he's going to be remembered for, one poor touch in the grand finals. But I think that he had a very good tournament. I think that FaZe really took a step forward in terms of international competition. So I'm excited to see if they can use that to help drive them to another first place finish going towards as we move towards Boston.
Yeah, well, we can no longer call them Fourth Clan. That's for sure.
No, and we may have to rename. Currently in our Discord server, all of our bots have a role, and currently that bot role is FaZe Clan, because bots. So we may have to rename that too.
You know what? I'm gonna give Gen G one more chance, and then all our bots are gonna be named Gen G. That's it. I can't break my heart again.
This is gonna piss off a lot of people. Maybe it's got to be NRG.
Hey, now we're talking.
I will say this is where I'm gonna go on my little bit of a rant, because I've ranted about it a couple times, and I just I have to get it off my chest where everybody can hear. FaZe Clan, if you're going to beat Gen G, you need to finish the job. You can't take out Gen G and then throw it in the grand final. All right, you either let Gen G win the whole thing, which I don't think they were going to, but you know what? Okay. For this storyline, I'm gonna say yes, they would have. Except FaZe has their number. FaZe just has their number. That's my theory, at least.
FaZe has whose number?
Gen G.
Gen G.
Gen G. Okay, so you're saying if a team is able to beat Gen G, then they'll be able to beat K Corp, right? Is that what you said? Is that what you were implying there? Because that's what it sounded like.
That yes, that's what I'm implying, but suddenly I feel like I'm about to get
roasted.
Lawyered. Yeah, I'm about to get lawyered.
All I'm gonna say is I think that I'm going with a hard disagree there.
Hey, and that's fair.
And that's all I'm going with.
I'll agree with you because Carmine Corp was out of their mind this tournament.
Yeah.
And Gen G was not.
Yeah, they went nuts.
I think Chronic tweeted, wasn't my LAN. Sorry, I'll regain.
Wasn't it his first LAN?
I think technically fall
first
was.
Major.
Fall major would have been, but first LAN in NA. Yeah. They won.
Yeah. Until this last split, they had been undefeated. They'd won pretty much everything. Yeah. They've been on a streak. They had never missed a grand final. And then they
lost one
won the
regional,
last major.
They lost 2 regionals, one to FaZe, one to V1, then they won the 3rd regional, regional.
That's
They
right.
won the major. They won the first regional in the winter split. Then didn't make. No, then top 2. Then didn't make the final, and that was the first time that they'd missed a final. And then this is the first time that they didn't get top 4.
Yeah, they're going in the
That's
wrong direction.
wild.
They were on
Yeah.
fire though at the end of, was it fall?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was crazy.
But
Moving
yeah,
on.
yeah.
All right. So we got the MVP awards. Offensive MVP going to Vatira, defensive MVP going to Mist, and overall MVP is once again Vatira. Did Vatira deserve it?
I think so.
absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. 100% agree.
Not a lot of argument
And
there.
I
No.
also completely agree that Mist deserves the defensive. Like the saves that he pulled off throughout this whole event was just mind blowing.
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
I mean-
I 100% agree with you.
I think. I mean, it was never going to be him just because of how early they got eliminated compared to FaZe. But I think another potential dark horse in that race for defensive MVP. Or not necessarily overall MVP because Vatira was just that good, but like the most important player to their team and the run is got to be Atomic with G2. I think he kept them in
Atomic with
quite
G2.
quite a lot of series that I was not expecting him to. He had a crap load of saves against Karmine Corp, and ultimately in a losing effort. But I still think that he had himself a really good tournament.
There were a lot of very incredible tournaments had in this event. It's just compared to the last major, I enjoyed this one much more. I feel like last major we had too many sweeps, which I don't remember if that's true or not, and I'm gonna have to look up.
Hey, and also we were talking about it at the event, right? But the grand finals weren't a sweep, so it was already better than the Worlds.
Yeah, Jesus.
Oh
I
boy.
watched like the first game of that series, and I was like, I'm done. I can't keep watching this.
Yeah, that was just brutal. We were there.
It was rough. I wasn't.
Yeah, I know. Oh, I just realized. So, and I'll say it on the episode. I don't care. You unfortunately got COVID at Worlds.
Yep.
And you didn't this time, and I didn't get it from you. So you're shooting. You're 50%.
Hell yeah.
The number's going
Almost
down.
passing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but yet somehow like our entire Airbnb got COVID. That was awful. I had gone like 3 years or however long it had been of COVID existing, not catching it, and then Worlds got me.
Yep. Me too.
I somehow did
Yeah,
not
it's
get it,
first
so
time.
I will
I
thank my
still
lucky
blame
stars on
Chasset.
that one. Yeah.
Chasset, if you're listening, I blame you for me getting COVID and basically my whole team. I was obviously joking.
Damn it, Semper.
Really. Like anybody that went to that event and expected to not get COVID is out of their mind.
What?
No, I thought it was a price to do a business. I mean, you're sitting in an arena of 15,000 screaming people. So
In the COVID super spreader.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Well, let's now we've talked a bit about the event and everything. Let's go back just a little bit and review our predictions. So I had predicted FaZe versus Gen G, but I thought it was going to be in the first round of semis. They actually met in quarterfinals, if I remember correct,
Mm-hmm.
from a few minutes ago. And I had predicted Gen G winning overall. That was wrong. I did predict Karmine Corp versus Liquid in semis also, but I predicted it would be Karmine Corp versus Gen G, not Karmine Corp versus FaZe. On the other half of this, though, Kyle, he got much closer because he got FaZe versus Gen G in different semis also, but then he called the Karmine versus Liquid and Karmine versus FaZe, but he scored a big old goose egg on who actually wins overall because he predicted FaZe What a noob.
Hey, I mean, I did a lot better than I think we did a lot better than I thought. I thought for sure as soon as we predicted it, it was going to be like all 4 of those teams were going to like crash out early or something like that. It just seems to be like the way of it.
I was really worried that Genji wasn't even making out of groups, and I was like, well, egg on my face. So for a second it was, for a second it was a little bit questionable. But
I mean, but like at the end of the day, and I probably should have touched on this when we're talking about groups, right? But like if Gen G win that series against Oxygen in round 3 of groups, then their run is Team Vitality and then Liquid instead of Falcons and FaZe. So it's entirely possible that you could have seen a Karmine Corp Gen G semifinal had they won that series against Oxygen.
interesting. But I think Binky was right. I don't think it would have gone Gen G's way either. But they got weeks off. Everybody's got some weeks off to worry about, to figure out what was going on. But let's jump into some RLCS news. Starting with the next major is announced. It's in Boston. It's July 6th through 9th, if I remember correct.
That is correct.
Yep.
Awesome. And then World is going to be in Dusseldorf, Germany, and I don't know the date off the top of my head on that one. And then, as we have seen between every split, Roster Mania has begun, baby. Starting with, go ahead, Binky, starts off.
V1. Simon Daniel. The super team. Or do we not feel like it's a super team yet?
I'm scared of that team.
Good news for you. You don't have to play them.
Nowhere near close. I am a boost diamond.
Yeah, I feel you. So, yeah, go ahead, kick you.
I mean, I think that's going to be a fantastic team. I'm very excited to see what they do in the first regional. I think we're just under a month away from that, but I want to wait and see how Calm fits into that team with Daniel and Beast Mode, because we've certainly seen what they can do in 2's tournaments. Because my God, the chemistry is already there. So I'm very interested to see what happens with that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm slightly worried with Calm on the team, but I think if everything works out, then they very well could just start dominating.
Well, I'm really excited about it, to be honest, because Calm is very good at making an opening, and with Beast Mode and Daniel sitting there just waiting for an opening, it's all Calm has to do is play his normal game, be the backup.
Not only
and then
that, he's way more mechanical than people give him credit for.
Yeah,
people just think he's just a demo chaser, but
so what becomes of SSG?
As far as I've understood from Shift and from some other people, I believe that SSG will pick up Hoxter, formerly of E United and a couple of other teams. But I mean, I think some people forget that LJ single-handedly almost carried Oxygen to a major by himself. So I think LJ is a fantastic player in his own right. I think that he wasn't given the opportunity to shine as much as he would have liked playing with Arsenal and Daniel. And so I'm hoping that he'll be able to break out of his shell a little bit more now that Daniel is gone. I think that while they took a step back mechanically, I think maybe we might see their results start to pick up a little bit. I don't think they're necessarily in that contention for a major spot, but I think that they may find themselves in the conversation for a wild card berth at Worlds.
Yeah, I agree.
I
just said I agree.
No, did Ace die?
I don't know.
No, I just said that would be good to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, so V1 picks up Daniel, replaces Torment, not Calm. They were going to drop Calm for Rise before this split, but now they're dropping Torment, and Torment is retiring, which I didn't see coming, to be honest.
Nor did I.
I know he's old as dirt as far as Rocket League players go, but yeah, I didn't see it coming at all. I just assumed he would go to another team.
I kind of did
and
too.
Another retirement announcement was Turbo.
Mr. Four Time.
I know, and Mr. Four Time, the legend, the GOAT. But I know, who was it? T Bates was calling for his retirement on old Chuck.
Yeah, I was listening to that too. I was like,
that was ridiculous.
T Bates has some crazy takes, man. But
Oh, he really does.
yeah, I mean, they did.
He doesn't even like. He doesn't care if he's wrong either. He's sticking to his guns.
T Bates hashtag never wrong. But
Exactly.
But Turbo was at the event. He announced his retirement on stage. They played a video tribute, which they did a really good job of, and I'm excited to see what he does in his life after his playing days, especially as the only 4-time. So we will have to wait and see what he does next. But the last kind of big roster news that we have thus far is Vitality announced their roster for the next split. As we talked about previously, Zen, waiting in the wings, will now get his chance. I have heard through some people that I know that they've given Zen the keys to the castle, so to speak, and Zen got to pick the roster that he wanted to compete with, and that roster is Alpha, Zen, and Radosin. Sizen will be benched. However, he is allowed to explore other options for the spring split, so that it may be potentially possible that we see Sizen competing for a different team. But it's good on that note that they're able to get this done so quickly. Give Sizen quite a lot of time to try and find another team so that he can compete in the spring split, because I personally think he had a very good major. I think the Vitality as a whole played a lot better than I expected them to. So the potential addition of Zen could make them a very, very scary team, but I think we will have to wait and see if Zen is able to perform as well as he has been in ones in threes.
How do you feel about just giving Zen the keys to the kingdom?
I mean, he's 16 years old. He's a fantastic mechanical player, but he's unproven in RLCS, right? So, I mean, Alpha, in my opinion, is a safer bet to kind of like that calming presence. He's been steady. He's been awesome. He's been on Vitality for a long time. In my eyes, it's still his team, even though it's most certainly not in Vitality's eyes. It's got to be Zen. But I think, you know, he kind of showed his immaturity a little bit after his ones loss to Rawas. So I am a little bit worried for him on a personal level, but I'm as a fan, I'm very excited to see him play.
Yeah, I agree. Should be very interesting.
I'm very curious to see if he lives up to the hype, because it's very different being on, being in where he was versus where he's going to be. So we'll see. We'll see how it comes out. But with those out of the way, I mean, those are some pretty big moves. There's some huge moves, and it's going to have some ripple effects, I think, through the standings throughout our spring split here. But also, it's not. Let me trip over my words. All right, but there will be more to come. So the roster transfer window is April 11th until the 24th. So we have another week and a half or so, almost 2 weeks, for other teams to make these changes. So I think we'll see Sizen picked up by somebody, but that means somebody will probably need to be dropped. And this is always an exciting time, because there are some teams out there that did not perform nearly as well as they would expect, and they may be looking to make some moves to try and resolve that through player transfers and drops and pickups and all that fun jazz.
And maybe we'll finally see Oli get on a team.
Let's see it. I'm here for it.
Oli, Sizen, and somebody else. Free agent team. Kind of free agent team. But yeah, so that'll do it for this episode of Boost Over Ball. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please make sure to continue checking out our website, www.boostoverball.com. That's going to have links to everywhere that you can listen to us, plus our Patreon, if you're so inclined, plus our Instagram and our Twitter. Remember to check out our Instagram for more pictures and more content as they continue to come out. Thank you so much for the support, for the ability to get the VIP passes and media cut, so we can give you and show you our media coverage, and hopefully we'll be able to bring you more moving forward. But As always, remember to choose Boost over Ball. Thank you for listening to the Boost Over Ball podcast.